A judgment in the bail application of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana will be handed down on the 11th of September 2023 in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. Magudumana's lawyer argued that she has strong family ties and no previous convictions or pending cases. However, the state is opposing bail. We have senior reporter Silindelo Masikane was in court and she joins us now for the latest. Silindelo, thank you so much for joining us. What came out of court today?
Well, in essence, we saw closing arguments from the state as well as the defense. They went head-to-head to try and show the court why Magudumana either should be granted bail or she should remain in custody. And the crux of the state's arguments is around the fact that the state believes that she's a flight risk, and they believe that if she is released on bail, then there is a likelihood that she will try and evade justice. You would remember last week we saw an affidavit from the investigating officer that detailed the role that she's alleged to have played in Besta's escape from the Mangaung Correctional Center, but also allegations around the fact that she was Besta's lover, also putting it on record that there is an affidavit that Magudumana had submitted to the Pretoria High Court where she had claimed to be Besta's customary wife, also showing the court that the state is in possession of evidence that she in fact lived with Besta in Hyde Park for at least 10 months after his escape, and that there was various statements that were collected from witnesses detailing that there was a romantic relationship, but also the state pointing out that Magudumana was brought back to South Africa from Tanzania, where she was declared as being an undesirable immigrant, saying that she was in the country illegally, that she had been found with multiple passports, one of which was her own, but had not been stamped at any borders coming in to Tanzania. And of course, she had been found with Besta as well as a Mozambican accomplice, also pointing out to the magistrates that Magudumana, while she claims she was kidnapped by Besta, she's also still challenging how she was brought back to South Africa by state officials, saying that she was also abducted from another country, saying that it's peculiar that Magudumana is taking the state to task with how she was brought back, despite the fact that she's claiming that she never wanted to leave South Africa in the first place. Let's take a listen to the state prosecutor.
Where and how they met, they decide not to reveal that to the court. And yet, they say, accused 5 kidnapped me. They do not reveal where they met, how he kidnapped her at all. Is it by gunpoint? Is it by knife? Is it how was she kidnapped? If indeed we have to believe she was kidnapped. It is my submission that in this aspect, she's not taking this court into her confidence.
Ansley, we'll remember what the last court appearance where Thabo Besta and other accused were present, how Dr. Nandipha Magudumana had reacted to him, almost exchanging romantic glances and gazes here. But what was the state's response to Dr. Magudumana's reaction to Thabo Besta in the last court appearance?
What we know is that the state in its closing arguments has raised and submitted pictures in support of its application in opposition of the bail bid, saying that there is evidence seemingly from that last appearance where all 12 accused were in court, where there is a suggestion that not only do they know each other, but they could possibly be romantically involved. I mean, we all saw those images. They trended on social media, making the suggestion that Magudumana isn't being completely honest with the court in terms of her relationship with Besta and how they know each other, saying that this should definitely be something that the court considers. But her lawyers were saying that all the issues that were raised by the state in its opposition of bail are simply issues that should be dealt with at trial stage, and that the state actually failed to even show that it has a strong case against Magudumana. So her lawyers actually spent most of the day submitting its arguments, trying to show the magistrate that their client had satisfied all the requirements for her to be released on bail, also stating that she can afford to be released on 10,000 Rand bail. Let's take a listen.
What does that have to do with if the applicant in that particular time, she is there saying she was smiling? How does that negate what happened 4 months ago? And in what state of the mind and in what psychological state is the applicant currently? Do we know? I've submitted, Your Worship, that this is a matter that will be dealt with sufficiently during trial.
It's been another long day in court at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court for our reporter and crew, Silindelo Masikane. They're giving us the latest update, what transpired in court and whether the bail application has any prospects of success. We'll find out on Monday, the 11th of September. Thanks indeed to Silindelo and the crew. We'll take a quick